So I was saying, restricted firearm has to be used in a firearms range. Can't use it out back. That includes a restricted handgun that shoots a .22 caliber. This is social responsibility. It's the same thing as the unrestricted, but I like this kind of stuff because it gets into stuff like examples of suicide and attempted suicide. In Canada, the great majority of firearm-related deaths are suicides. That's from the government. That's their stats on it. Example of homicides. We don't need to get into that. We can imagine that pretty easy. Firearms reported lost or missing or stolen. We have to report that. 22 examples of accident. You know, it's the man loading his firearm and shot himself. Pretty dumb. But it happens. You know, it was probably an accident, and that's what it is. An accident. He probably knew what he was doing. Having a bad day, I guess. Firearm hazards and precautions, social responsibilities and ethics, store all firearms and properly, ammunition properly, explain firearm safety to all family members, remove firearms from situations of potential violence, act sensibly and carefully around firearms, never consume drugs or alcohol beverages around firearms, always get permission before shooting on someone else's property, have eyesight checked regularly, maintain your firearm in good working order. Common practices, right, guys? I mean, this is why we have this, because these courses, because I like this course, actually. You know, I really enjoyed the course. A lot of people don't know anything about firearms. I was surprised, like I said, and it's a good way to get introduced to it. So here in Canada, in order for me to transport my restricted firearm, I have to have an ATT, which is authorization to transport. Further ammunition, I already covered that. Where's that ATT? Here it is. A restricted firearm may be transported only under the following conditions. It is unloaded and rendered inoperable by using a secure locking device. In a locked container that is made of opaque material and cannot be easily broken open or into or accidentally opened during transportation. You may leave the locked container carrying the restricted firearm in an unattended vehicle, securely locked trunk or similar compartment. If the unattended vehicle does not have a securely locked trunk or similar compartment, lock the vehicle or the part of the vehicle that contains the container and leave the locked container out of sight. When transporting the restricted firearm between two or more specific places, you will need an ATT, which is authorization to transport. To obtain an authorization to transport, you need to contact a firearms officer. You'll need to provide the following information: your firearm license number, the registration certificate number of the firearm to be transported, the frequency, which how many times you're going to transport, date and times the firearm will be transported, the place of departure and destination of the transported firearm, and the reason for transporting the firearm. Please note, provincial territory policies may also apply. Okay, that's changed. We get an ATT. It's good for 3 to 5 years, depending on the chief firearms officer of the province. So I live in Alberta. I phone him up. I go, I need an ATT. He goes, okay, you can have it for 2 weeks. He can dictate whether or not I can have it for 2 weeks or up to 5 years. And I don't have to phone him every time I move, every time I want to transport the firearm. It's good for as long as he feels that it's good for. Some guys, like my friend, one of my friends, he's got his for 5 years, and he just has to throw it in the truck and away he goes, right? And it has to be locked in a lockable case. Most firearms that we buy here in Canada come with the lockable case. Not all of them, but some of them do. So once you've read this, you go and take your test. You know, and I got 92 and a 98, 92 on the written, 98 on the practical, and it's an 80% you got to have in order to pass and get your license. You have to be a part of a gun club, okay, in order to have a restricted firearm. But the unrestricted, you don't need to be a part of a gun club. We do have tactical places or other places where we can upgrade to learn more about firearms, like the IPSC, which is, you guys know what that is if you're watching it. We also have the AHTL and the IDPA here in Canada. The AHTL is Alberta Tactical Handgun Lead, so you can learn more about being proficient with our firearms. And once you've passed, you get a nice certificate here. And more crap. So yeah, that's for ROBBIE G T.V. and any YouTubers out there, Canadians who don't know anything about the safety course. That's basically what it is. So, you know, I don't know what restricted is. So I passed restricted. I just have to mail it in. paperwork crap, but there's a lot of paperwork here. Like, there's a lot of crap. There's a lot of crap. But I do like the safety course. It's a good thing. Here in Canada, they're restricted firearms. We get into the AR. We don't even touch on the AR systems. We're allowed to have the AR systems, but the government, Canadian government, is scared of the internals because you can turn it over to a full automatic. That's a bunch of crap, but whatever. It's all crap. That's all I have to say. I'm only allowed 5 rounds in the magazine. Handguns are only allowed 10. When you're hunting, you're only allowed 5 rounds with your long guns. But if I buy a shotgun, we can get a high-capacity magazine. We can get the 8-round magazine. I can't use that hunt. I get caught hunting with an 8-round magazine shotgun, I'm in trouble. $120 for the course. When you have to have your unrestricted first before you go for your restricted. You can't go for your restricted. All right, you have to have your unrestricted first, then you can go for your restricted. $120 for the unrestricted. It's free for the restricted because you've already paid for it. That's how it works. If you're a criminal, you can still get your firearms license. It has to be over 5 years that you haven't had any criminal offenses. If you have a criminal offense prior to going to take the course, you won't be able to. You can take the course, but the chief firearms officer will reject it immediately. It'll be flagged. I think that's about it. Okay.